we've also found that when you talk on the phone or chat, through a computer robot, or your team is chatting, your close rate is about a 33%. Okay. That's just based on the data right from our customers. When you go on site and show your pretty face, right? Or you show your face via video, you close at 60%.
Welcome to the Painter Growth Podcast, where we help you scale your painting company in record time. Join us as we explore sales, marketing, hiring, finances, leadership, and more, everything that you need to know to scale and grow your painting business. I hope you enjoy and subscribe. What's up, everyone? Mike Gore-Hickman here, founder of PainterGrowth.com, and you're listening to the Painter Growth Podcast mobile studio today. I have no electricity at my house, so I am on the go. And I am joined here by one of the partners at a company called LiveSwitch. You may have not heard of it. His name is James, and I'm really excited for this conversation. We're going to dive into what the product does. James has a painting and pressure washing background, so y'all are actually really going to want to listen to this. But it's a really cool tool to incorporate video into your text messaging and into your quotes and your customer proposals. And we're going to get into it, but video is the future. Video is here, and this is something you want to listen to. James, stoked to have you.
Thank you for having me, Mike. And listeners, I started my business as a painting and power washer. So I know what you guys go through every day with your crews. You're trying to make ends meet, trying to make happy customers. So I'm also happy to talk about all the latest technology today. So I'm excited to get into it, Mike. Thanks for having me.
So let's talk about, let's start with origin story. Because what's really cool is what you've done right now, James, is that this isn't a bootstrap company. This is, you had an exit, you have money, and now you're investing a ton of money into this next product. Tell me about that experience. What's the difference between starting your first company, which you then exited, to now having a company where you have as much money as you need to do what you want?
Oh my. So let me go all the way to the beginning, right? Because that's where the stories are best. So my origin story is my grandfather never graduated high school because his father died young. And so he had to be the man of the house. And so he went to work at a tire shop, never got his a degree from high school. And his ambition for me, I was close to my grandfather, was like, James, when you get older, I want you to paint the roads. I want you to own a painting business, but I want you to paint the highways. That was his biggest dream for me. And that was great. And I was like, all right, Grandpa, I'm going to do something with that. But in addition, I want to get a college education, and put myself through college. We didn't come from anything, right? So I put myself through college and I ran a painting company. I didn't paint the roads this time, though. Painted residential painting was my gig. And then I also transitioned into power washing. So I'll talk all about that. But after that, and after graduating college, a partner and he ran a landscaping company. We got into tech. Technology was our bag. And the thing that we were good at, that we learned how to do, was our numbers. So we invented a technology about 20 years ago. We're one of America's first financial technology companies. And we were able to take income statement and balance sheets, which most of us business owners struggle to understand. We hold it upside down. What does this mean? We're like, just pay the bookkeeper and move along. And here's my taxes, right? But there was valuable info that I can compare myself against other painters to see how I stack up based on my financial numbers. And that turned into a big business. It's a multi-billion dollar
financial benchmarking across the industry.
Exactly. I could take my end of year, income statement, balance sheet, feed it through the system. It would tell me in plain language how I'm doing. And then it would compare me against other painters. But it took off.
What's that called now?
It's called a Brigo. But it's a multi-billion dollar company, and all banks use it for loans now. Wow. We had an exit. We created another nonprofit to help inmates.
So you're a founder of Abrigo?
It was originally called SageWorks, but yeah, we were there. I was there in the beginning. I was employee number 8, and we built that thing from nothing.
Yeah. So my wife is in commercial banking.
Oh.
So she probably uses it every single day.
She probably does. It's crazy. I mean, that was 20 years ago, right? But we got into philanthropy, helping out inmates to create their own businesses. And it turned into an ABC television show called Free Enterprise. My partner is a star of the show. And we love educating business owners, especially folks that are kind of coming from hard times. And then we got into this tech business, which has been great. And we'll talk about that soon. But our roots are deep embedded and growing from me knocking on doors. I mean, I knocked on doors to start my painting and power washing company, even before anyone had computers. I'm dating myself now. I'm a little older than I look.
Knocking on doors still works, James.
Oh, and it will always work.
Yeah.
100%. Well, knocking on doors is like, I mean, I give all respect. But I had to knock on doors and get those jobs and close that business for my staff to eat while I was also trying to get my education and my business degree. It
Yeah,
was
been there.
a different kind of intensity, you know?
Yeah. So you did the painting, you started, I guess, just really briefly, how did you get into financial services tech from painting?
As one does, you fall into it. My
Okay.
partner's really good with numbers, and so am I. We're number hounds. But he put together this beautiful just system that could read statements, and then we just took it from there. I was able to take it, and I'm a good sales guy, right? So I'll go around just like I knocked on doors. I just picked up the phone. We called accountants all over the country, and
Very
then
cool.
told them what we had. You know, I mean, that's
Yeah.
kind of the way to grow your business, right? Hustle. It still works. Cold calling, knocking on
Yeah.
doors. Like you want to grow your business, go old school sometimes.
Yep. 100%. So you're growing this company, which is called Sageworks.
Yep.
And then what was like, just, quick overview. What was that like exit process like?
Intense. They pour through all your books. So like these companies, KKR, huge mega company, comes in and just strips you down.
VC or venture capital or private equity?
It's going to be private equity. KKR is
Okay.
one of the largest ones in the world. But they strip you down, look at everything. You sell the business, they give you the money, and they take it over. And a bunch of my staff that I hired 20 years ago are still there. It's a great company. But we wanted to build another big company, and we love tech. So we got into this about 4 years ago, and it's got a cool story of how we came full circle back to home services.
Yeah. Okay. So you get through the exit.
Yep.
And how do you start with video conferencing? I know you said when we were offline that you wanted to create a tool that you wish you had when you're running your trades business. How did you come to video? How did that even get started? Because that seems like the concept of like getting started with software is a big thing, but then like getting started with video software feels like a step more difficult.
Oh, if you knew now what we knew then, we wanted to purchase a company since we had capital. So we looked at all these different kind of companies globally, and we found this company out of Vancouver, Canada, that we fell in love with. The founder, he's a computer scientist. They had all computer scientists, and they were doing really cool things with video. And so we decided, all right, we're going to purchase this one. That just made sense. We thought we could come in, really help it, make a product with their fundamental technology, this video engine. And I got to learn all about this technology. It was overwhelming. Like my engineers would be speaking English to me, and I'm like, I don't understand a word they're saying. I literally can't understand you guys. But we found out that we're only one of like 4 companies that do this, and it's extremely hard. So hard. We have some of the largest companies in the world that are our customers now because they can't even figure it out. And it's just because live video to connect two people point to point anywhere on the planet is extremely challenging. But what happened is really interesting. So I'm a product guy as well. And we had the chance to reinvent the 911 phone call with the chief of police of Washington, D.C. to use video because your phone is the worst part of your phone. It's almost ironic thing. The iPhone, the Android, the phone's the worst, right? Because it's old technology called telephony. And so what we ended up doing is creating a system where you just get a text message and you tap it, and you point your camera on your smartphone at the situation, and that feed from the video goes right to the police car. It's called situational awareness. It allows them to know what they're driving in, and they can use a citizen's camera to help them, and it'll record everything, and it gives them eyes on the issue, right? So I ended up being like, well, who else could use this? And I met this guy who takes care of the Tennessee Titans football team, the NFL team. He's 20 years in the FBI. His name is AD. He's a fantastic person. He's looking at all of our emergency response stuff, and he's like, James, I got the stupidest question. I'm like, what is it? He's like, this is all well and good, the emergency stuff, but can I just text my guy across the arena when the trash cans fall over and he can show me so I don't have to hop in my little golf cart? And that'll save me a lot of time. And I was like, oh, yeah. And it reminded me of the Nextel walkie-talkie. You remember those things, Mike? Everybody had to have one. Like you knew you made it when you had your Nextel walkie-talkie. You're like, I'm the coolest. But we knew like, okay, there's something there. This text instantly get a video. And I ended up randomly meeting this really smart guy in the moving business, like moving boxes. He's like, James, you have no idea what you have. And I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, you know what we're going to use this for? Instead of me putting my guys behind a windshield in the truck and driving all over to do 4 estimates a day, we're just going to use it to do virtual estimates. And that way my team can see it, work right from the truck or work from their home or from the office and close business. And he was right. He was so right. And now we have hundreds of home service companies all over the world using our stuff every day. It's been a wild ride to go from point A all the way to back full circle. And I mean, I've got power washers and painters that use our stuff every day. So it's like for the power washers and painters, by the power washer and painters. So
Yeah.
it really gives me
Did
a
you
lot.
get so real quick before you do the trades, because this is like super intriguing to me. The emergency response stuff, did that scale at all?
Yeah, it's still going. We're just now getting across universities as well, because we have a big heart for all these school shootings that have been happening and continue to happen. It's really sad. So instead of arming all of our teachers with AK-47s, which we're not going to do, all the teachers have smartphones in their pocket. So they can just scan a QR code in their classroom, or the students can, and that live video feed will go to the emergency services. So we're
Wow.
well on our way. Government stuff and stuff like that just takes a lot longer compared to like our home
Absolutely.
service guys. They're like, I want it, I got it. I don't have to run through any red tape, right? There's a
Yeah,
lot of regulatory when you're dealing with like government stuff.
for sure. Okay, so let's go to home service now. Let's go give people what they want. What can this do for me, right? So on your site, you have basically 3 different use cases that are like visible. What are they called, and like what do they do briefly? And let's dive into what you think the most relevant one is for tradespeople.
Yeah. So for me as a tradesperson, I just want to get money wherever it is. If someone nowadays with Amazon, if someone's shopping from their home, I want to get the money. You know, if somebody's having me come over, I want to get the money. If someone's telling a friend, if someone's looking at my mailer, you know, whatever, I just want to close the business and get my guys out there and my different teams and paint or power wash and get it done. So what can happen now, you know, they can call you up, right? Or they go on your website and you want to get eyes on the project. Here's the reason why. Okay. One, seeing things are much better than trying to listen to someone explain. Well, I've got a 2-story house with a 2-car garage and it's this many square feet. And you go on and look at a satellite image and you try to do your best, right? And I want to get my quote right. You know, I want to know, because I'm hourly. You know, if my guys can get that thing done faster, I get a higher margin. So now we've also found that when you talk on the phone or chat, you know, through a computer robot, or your team is chatting, your close rate is about a 33%. Okay, that's just based on the data right from our customers. When you go on site and show your pretty face, right? Or you show your face via video, you close at 60%. It closes just as much on site as virtual. In fact, one of my customers is like, it closes a little higher virtually. And I'm like, why is that? You know, I would think on site might beat it. You know, he's like, no, you don't understand. Like the instant they call, I can give them a quote. I don't have to book them out a week later, because sometimes if I book someone out a week later, they're going to call the next painter to come and they're going to swoop and snipe my deal. So I want to be speed to lead, and I want to quote. I want to quote as fast as possible. I want the right quote, and I want a human face. And so we have a technology where you can send a text, boom, connect live video, no app to download, because no one wants to download another app. And you got to deal with Androids and iPhone. It's all tuned up for remote assistance. This ain't a FaceTime call. This ain't a Zoom call. This is purpose built for you to quote through the customer's phone as they walk you around outside. So that's the first one, text to connect. The second one is after hours bidding. You know, for those folks that now have to work in the office again and they're not at their home and they call up and say, hey, I need my house painted. You know, well, you're like, well, are you at your house? No, I'm at the office. No problem. I'll send you a text. And when you get home, now my guys will be sleeping in their beds probably, or it'll be evening. I didn't like to do a lot of evening quotes because my customers, you know, they were scared of that in some ways. I couldn't see as well. And I wanted to be with my family, to be honest. So those evening quotes, they can just hit the text, go around the house, and you can review it in the morning and give them that quote next morning of. And
Okay.
the third
How is that better than just FaceTiming or sending a video?
Okay. So FaceTiming, you're making sure they have the right device. Okay. FaceTiming also, when you're asking a customer to walk around the house, they are looking at you big as the bidder and them small. Well, some of us have crappy eyes like me. I got big, thick Coke bottle glasses. Like if I'm trying to walk around and look at my house through a postage stamp size of myself, it's really hard to do. Right. So that's one. So we flip it. Big for me as a customer, and I still see you, the bidder, small. On your receiving end as the painting company, you're going to see it on your big, your tablet, your computer, or even on your phone. You can bid right from your truck or whatever. And it's going to record everything, and you're going to be able to take remote photos. You're going to be able to take notes, and it's all going to go to the cloud. Nothing is stored on your customer device or on your employee device. So you're layering in pieces that, frankly, FaceTime was never built for remote quoting.
So it's a better experience for the client, and it removes steps for them.
Absolutely. Remove steps. They don't have to go and look through stuff to upload. No more of that. People don't like to do that. And you're saving everything. It's like your instant replay. So if you quoted them and they're like, oh, no, the bidder said that they were just going to do the trim at no extra cost. Or, oh, they said they were going to paint my shed as well. You go back to your instant replay. No, we didn't agree on that. Or you can have your guys watch it at 2x speed to see what was bid and what the customer is asking.
So your techs can get this as well. Your painters can have access to that video when they start the project.
Absolutely. And spouses, and imagine if one spouse gets it, they want to show the other one, or family.
Okay. Question: how about these magic 2 letters that are now in everything that we do? AI.
Yeah.
Is there going to be an option sometime in the future, or maybe now, where you go through and it's measuring the walls and the substrates as you go?
Absolutely. That's the future, though. But first step is to get everybody comfortable with doing virtual bids, right? Because it's new.
We do talk about virtual bids, and we have a lot of clients who do virtual bids because it saves you so much time. And so the way that we're doing that now is we'll schedule it, we'll do a FaceTime with them, try to get husband and wife together, and then they'll do the walk around, right? And they'll make notes, and then ideally write out the proposal while everyone's still on, and then present it or call them back in 20 minutes. So that's what we're kind of doing right now. But it sounds like this would just eliminate a few steps, kind of improve their experience a bit.
Absolutely. And improve your experience as a bidder. You want to have purpose-built tools, right? I used to have my guys go and hand brush the trim and roll the siding. And then I got this thing called a paint sprayer. And my siding and my hourly work my margins went way up because of that thing, right? I can put my hand in the paint bucket and paint it with my hand, but that's not efficient, right? You want to have the right tools for the right job to give the right product, right? Mm-hmm. And there's so much more going on than just us live connecting with the customer. All of that recording, the photos, the notes, everything that you're going to need to cover your backside, give a good quote, and also have it in the documentation for later, especially if someone calls back and they're not happy, right? Or you miss something. Again, the most expensive thing you do is you put yourself or someone else in a truck driving behind to bids. It's non-productive. You're not guaranteed the money, and you're putting wear and tear on the vehicle, wasting gas, and it's an expensive thing that you're doing, and you can only do about 4 bids a day per estimated. So it all compounds.
Yeah, I actually have a friend who runs a 7-figure painting business in Pittsburgh, but he lives in Colombia. So he does all of his estimates remote, just out of necessity.
Has to
be a cool tool for him.
Oh yeah, and if you want, a lot of our customers are getting virtual assistants overseas.
Yep,
you can have people overseas, and they are sharp. Don't underestimate what you get, and you're paying a quarter of what you're paying people in the U.S., and they'll be ready at any hours. So you can have these quotes done half a world away, still have it all video recorded. So if you're in Colombia or if you're in, Indonesia, you can still bid. And again, all the customers want is, how much is it going to be? When can you be here? And do you got 5 stars on your Google review? Right. And everyone wants to say, well, it's my award-winning personality. Not really, a little bit, but if they can see you as a person, that will help. That has a higher close rate. But you aren't doing anything special that someone else isn't going to do or say or promise or whatever. Customers want convenient. They want it now. They want a good price, and they want to see other 5 stars and referrals. Am I wrong, Mike?
That's absolutely right. So if you have this this estimating tool or this communication tool to help with a virtual estimate, what are the other video enabled tools that you guys have that would be valuable in this for this use case?
Yeah. So after hours bidding is important. So again, I was talking about something where you could send someone a text message and they can do this when you can't be there to bid. It's also right through your website. So now we have our home services folks. Everyone has their kind of lead capture, which like book a lead here, and they put in their info. Well, now what we have is a button that they can tap and instantly start taking the video. So when you call back, you've watched a video, you've got their info, and you're like, oh yeah, I've already watched your video. So a customer we call it the video Dropbox.
Okay, so instead of like the chat icon, like chat with an assistant now, a real assistant, and then it ends up like no one ever answers it because no one's there.
That's right.
You click on that and it opens up a video prompt immediately and says, tell us about your project.
Exactly. And they can do it right from their phone. And you can even, if they're on their computer, it'll serve up a QR code. Say, hey, scan the QR code, take your phone outside or inside if you're doing indoor painting, and show us what you need done. And that way, when you call, you're pot committing people. We call it pot committing because not only do they give you their phone number, which that's a big, when someone gives you a phone number, that's a big deal, right? It's like giving them social security number. They're giving you
a lot of trust.
It's a lot of trust. And then in addition, if they've taken a video of their private property and put that in as well, you've got
send it to a stranger on the internet.
Exactly. And they submitted it. So as you get to review that, you come back, you're coming back armed now with a pre-quote, unless they missed a room or something. So you're coming, price, scheduling, done. You're not calling to, hey, get out your calendar. I can be out there next week at Tuesday at 2:00. Like nobody likes to wait around for people at the house.
So you get the video and then you create you get the video, then you create a quote just on your own estimating software or whatever you're using, and then share that with the client. And is there screen sharing? So when you actually go to present the quote to the client, will you still use LiveSwitch?
Yep, you can screen share, walk them through it. Everything's going to get recorded. So if you need to take a look at your sales team and make sure they're doing a good job, or if there's any disputes, it's all there as well. But yes, you can screen share too. And you can have a virtual background as well, in case you're like in a truck or maybe at your house and you don't want them to see the background. Just put your branding up. It's all custom. You just put your branding and, everyone's on brand for you too.
Okay. So we have the quoting, we have the presenting, we have the chat bot that allows them to do a virtual quote immediately at the time of requesting. That's pretty cool. I actually saw, maybe I used your service already. I was looking after my parents' hot tub when they were away this one time, and there was this hot tub company, and it's like it had the chat bot, and I think it immediately went to open a video and it's like, show us the problem with your hot tub, and then you like show the color and the chemicals, and you talk, and then they get back to you.
Yep, I mean that we enable all that. All right. The other thing that's really nice is think about membership programs. Okay, this is what we're really educating a lot of our home services to do, is that you can put a QR code on a fridge magnet or a 3x5, and they can, to have that and say, look, if you have any painting issues, any needs, just scan the QR code, take a video of what you want, and then we'll call you with your quote and time to come out. And
video voicemail. That's what it is. It's video voicemail.
Video voicemail and on-demand help. Even when you don't have a live person to answer that call, right? You're just making sure like, hey, you're a premium customer for us. We're going to put you at the front of the line, and you can some folks charge money for this, right? Think about like we stained a lot of decks, right? And so staining, we always recommend every year to get a coat of protection, so that's recurring revenue for a painting company. So what you can do is on the deck, you can even put a waterproof QR code. When it's time, let us know, we'll come out, or put them on a recurring rev. Like say, hey, look, what we're going to do is for a couple $100 a year, like $20 a month, we're going to come out and we're going to reseal as part of your premium membership. Like I don't want them using any other painting, power washing company. I want them to use me. Recommend.
It's like plumbing companies now do that. They sell a subscription. My parents have the subscription where every month they pay whatever a month, and then they get an annual furnace tune-up, right? Which is essentially a sales call.
Exactly.
I pay for an annual sales call.
The version of that for me as a painter was a sealing, a coat, and that didn't cost me hardly anything. The coating, I'd put it in my paint sprayer, have that. All right, we've recoated it, and let's take a look. What other needs do you have? And you're putting them on. You're not doing it for free because you're getting them to pay recurring revenue, and then you're just taking care of everybody's deck, and you're remind them, oh, actually, I could really use my office painted, or my
Yeah.
neighbor was talking about you guys. So there's ways to like really get that recurring revenue instead of always being the hunter, which a lot of, for me as a painting company, I always felt as a hunter, I got to get out to knocking on doors as fast as I can every week, until word of mouth continues to spread.
Yeah.
So,
And so that's number 1 and 2. What was the third use case?
yes. So all of this in your pocket, your phone, can be used for before and afters, can be used for covering your butt. Like if you're going out there and you notice pre-existing damage, have your team make a recording video of that, because nothing hurts your bottom line more than a claim. Okay. And then also customer testimonial videos. And again, nothing is stored on device because videos are bigger files. Right. And then, of course, if one of your staff decides to quit on you, you already have all that information in your cloud and it's not on anybody's device.
So that would be like a kind of a direct competition with Company Cam.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Although
And then,
yeah.
go ahead.
Oh, no, the difference with us is just you're going to have live video, like Company
Yeah.
Cam doesn't have stuff like that. We're very complimentary to Company Cam. In fact, a lot of our customers have both.
Hmm. Okay. Is there indexing and saving and like how do you if you're doing, some of our guys are doing 10 plus jobs a week, right?
Yep.
So what's the indexing and saving process like just to make it organized?
It's right in the cloud. It's all by customer name initially, and you can add additional indexing. Like, oh, this is training. Like, if you want to do training videos on how to stain decks, you might, oh, we did a great job on this one. I got a video of it, training deck staining. Boom. It also goes in project files. So if you do multiple jobs for somebody or larger jobs, it all goes into an entire project, and you can share that project. So you can see the progress, or even if you've done previous work from them from a month ago, a year ago, they're in that file. Every bit of work, every product picture, every photo, every document is saved right there. And you can take that link and share it with anybody. You can even save it right there with Company Cam if you so chose.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. Um, that's pretty cool. And is there any integrations with CRMs or Zapier or open APIs or anything like that?
Yep. Everything that we do is a public API, open API, and we have a Zapier integration as well. So you can zap right to anything, even if it's a Google Sheet. You can do
Okay.
that as well. So we do
What
have
are the
that.
triggers that you have on Zapier? I know this is not getting a little technical, but
Oh, yeah. So anytime you take a video or passing company data, like your customer's data, if you want to like have it talk, so you don't want to
okay.
re-enter data twice.
Yeah.
So any of those things that you like, and we have folks here that'll help you set that up. Like it's not hard.
Awesome. And geotagging, is that part of the video?
We don't do any of the geotagging in the video right now because of everything that we do is through the browser, and the browser
Mm,
has certain limitations. Like if we made an app, we could do that. Here's why we don't make an app, because when your customer calls you and wants that quote, the last thing you want to do is say, "Hey, do you mind downloading an app for me?" Or clicking
huge
this. Oh, now
barrier.
they got to
Huge
find the
barrier.
password. Like I had a guy who hangs TVs. He's like, James, I had a 90-year-old on it the other day because we wanted, our whole thing is make it easy for everybody,
Mhm.
not just
I
your
love
staff.
that. I love that not having an app. That's
Yeah. If you can
so important.
send a text and you can tap a text, you can use our stuff. That's it. You do not have, just use your finger, tap the thing, and you're on with the customer. The only
Yeah.
time if they don't have a smartphone, but everyone has it nowadays. But it's not going to eliminate 100% of your quoting. Sometimes you'll do two things. One, if they don't have a smartphone, you're going to have to drive out. Or two, you might want to do what we call a 1-2 punch, especially on your big jobs. It's like do it virtually first because you want to be first to bid. And then if it's such a larger job, 5-figure deal or more, then of course you're probably going to go out
Initiates
there.
the relationship too, right? Not speed to lead, but like speed's a relationship.
That's right. They're
Yeah.
seeing
Then if
your
you're booking a
face.
week out, they'll at least give you a chance because they now know you.
That's right. And you're presenting yourself as more tech forward, right? You're just like, whoa, like if my painter can do that, I bet, that's a separation as well. All those little details add up in a customer's mind. They're judging you up and down.
Hmm. Yeah, we teach our clients a really professional, sales and estimating process, and we get a lot of compliments from our clients, our customers' clients, on um, on the professionalism that they get from that. So this would kind of I see how that would pair in. We just have to figure out how it would kind of work together, what parts you'd be able to do, and what parts you would be able to still do in person. I think that'd be definitely doable. Um, Pricing. How does this work for the average
Very
service
affordable.
business?
We have it on the website. It's very affordable, and we do it by seat. You do not buy it for everyone in your company, just the people who really need to use it. And so we start at 2 seats and kind of go up from there. It's a monthly cost, 60-day money back guarantee. But if you go to liveswitch.com, you can kind of put in your parameters and you can get started. I've had guys look at it in the morning, buy it in the morning, train in the afternoon, trains included, start using it the same day. It's
like, can you drop the price for the guys who say at the end? Is it like $30 a month? Is it $300 a month? Just like,
it starts at like $80 a person per month,
Okay.
and then goes down from there. It's very like we want this. I mean, I've got guys that it's just themselves in a truck that uses stuff, So
Yeah.
we're trying to go for mass adoption.
Yeah, that makes sense. And then if it didn't save you, 2 hours a month, it pays for itself.
Oh yeah, that has not been the issue. But and that's on a like that for us. We have hundreds customers. Like that's not our barrier, right? So we just want you to be able to put something new in your hands that you haven't used before. That's the barrier. Well, I haven't.
Yeah, adoption, right?
Yeah,
it's not signing up for it; it's using it.
Yeah, it's like if you haven't done much virtual bidding, I get it. It's new. But once you close that first deal or close that deal after hours you wouldn't have, or book a job that you wouldn't have driven to, like it increases your radius. You're like, I'm not going to drive out there for one bid, but if I can close it virtually, I'd send my team out there to do the job to get those 4 or 5 figures. So you're expanding.
I have like a dozen clients that are just coming to mind right now who live in like semi-rural areas who have big drives all the time. That this could completely change. Like when you're talking like that level of savings, 10 to 15 hours a week of driving, like that's literally life changing.
Oh, it's life changing. I've had customers be like, James, you're giving me time back with my 2-year-old daughter. Like that is, how can I put a price on that? In addition, he's like, I went from doing 4 bids a day to 8, so you got to it's embracing that. That's why we give it 60-day money back guarantee. If it's not for you, don't worry, I'll give you all your money back. That's not what this is about. Like this is a tool to implement into your front end, your documentation, your back end. Because the other thing to know is when you're doing like a customer testimonial or before and after video, you want to get those uploaded to your Google page, because Google will know if you're using stock photo or if you're using your own photos and video, and it will even elevate you further, even if you're not paying for advertising.
So you can take the video that's in the cloud on your servers, you can download it to your computer and then re-upload it to your Google profile.
We highly recommend it. You will kick everybody's butt by doing that. Your ranking goes up so fast when you start doing things like Google looks for authentic, organic, real stuff, and they can analyze all that. They'll
customer
look at
user generated content, right? That's what they want.
That's what they want. Exactly what they want. And they're just like the glorified phone book. They're just trying to surface. Their job is to surface the best in the area. So if someone says, hey, I need a paint job in Asheville, North Carolina, that list of near me, that ranking is not always what you think. If it's sponsored, yes, someone paid to be at the top. But there's many times where there's companies that are winning out that don't pay Google a dime, but Google wants to have good service for their end users.
There's a lot of people who just immediately scroll past the sponsored posts just by habit and then look at the organic ones.
That's right. That's exactly right. And that's how you earn it. You've got to earn it. And the more you do that, you will wipe the floor with your competition just by doing that alone. And it's not hard.
Yeah. Love it. Now your company might be a little bit too big for this, but I always like to do something for my viewers who come right to the end. And if you could do something, that'd be great. I put every guest who has something to offer on the spot at the end of the podcast, not rehearsed.
Okay.
What's a special offer that you can make for Painter Growth listeners who made it all the way to the end of this podcast to test out LiveSwitch? What's the best deal that you can do for the guys who listen to the end?
Okay. Here's what I'm going to ask. You go to liveswitch.com, liveswitch.com, book a demo, ask for me, James Hatfield. You'll bypass everyone. You'll come right to me. And if you're a painter, you'll be talking to a painter. And I will give you an additional discount. We don't even discount. We don't. So I will give you a personal discount because you made it to the end and you hunted me down. I'll give you a little extra sweetener.
All right, let's do it. Are you gonna time limit that? End of February, maybe?
No, you hunt me down anytime.
Anytime. There we go.
I love hunters. I'm a hunter. I mean, I knock on doors. I'm gonna feed the hunters. So you hunt me down, I will hook you up. Done. Awesome. Just because you put in the sweat equity.
Love it. That's a good offer. Cool. Hey, James, thanks for coming on, man. That's super exciting. I'm very impressed with what you guys have, and I encourage anyone who wants to do virtual estimates to test this out.
Thanks for having me, Mike. Thank you, guys.
Thanks for listening to the Painter Growth Podcast. If you want to grow your painting business, go to www.paintergrowth.com or click on the top link in the description. Talk soon.